Good evening. So today we need to start regarding that Node.js Core Module. So basically we need to understand those things. Okay. The thing is like the understand in the Node.js Core Modules. Okay. So first one, so we have some built-in models in the Node.js. Okay. The first one, we have some built-in models. So basically, the Node.js comes with a set of pre-installed uh, modules, like pre-installed in the sense like built-in. So basically, built-in in the sense like it's a pre-installed. Okay. So basically, Node.js comes with a set of the built-in modules that provide the essential functionalities for your application. Okay, and these models are packaged with Node.js. So we don't need to install them as a separately. So basically, um, they are designed to help our perform the common tasks like, for example, handling the files, handling the files, and making HTTP request, HTTP request, HTTP request, and working with the data streams. Okay, so we have more the built-in methods are there in that Node.js. So basically, the thing is like the Node.js comes with a set of pre-installed modules and that provide the essential functionality for the for our application. So basically, okay. So we can take one example for that built-in modules. Okay. So here, so first one we can take that file system. So basically the file system basically used to interact with the file system. What are the file system in the sense like we can able to read, write, and update the files. So basically this one use it to interact with the file system. Okay. So file system in the sense like we can able to read, reading and writing and updating the files. Okay. And the second thing, there is a HTTP request. Okay, HTTP request. So basically this allows you to create the server and handle the HTTP request. So basically this allows you to create the servers. Okay. And so we have like these are the built-in methods, so fs and HTTP, and there is one more thing is the path. Okay. So this also one like the built-in method, so it helps in working with manipulating the file path actually. So basically it helps in working with manipulating file path. Okay. And so we have some events as well in that built-in methods. Okay. So what are the events in the sense like so basically the implements an event driven architecture to listen and handle the events in our application. Okay. And so there is one more thing, there is a os in the operating system. So basically it provides the information about the operating system in the sense like CPU and memory, like CPU and that memory usage. So we can able to see in that operating system, that OS. Okay. So these modules are the always available and the saving our time, like saving our time and effort to writing the code of the common task. For instance, when you want to create the HTTP server, okay, otherwise when you want to create a read file, so then you can use directly that HTTP for the creating the server, FS for the like reading the file module. Like basically that HTTP and FS modules like without worrying about the additional installation steps. So we can able to import the particular FS or particular HTTP, so then we can able to perform the like operations. Okay, so this is regarding that built-in methods. Okay, so there is no installation needed. Okay, the second point, the first point, it's a built-in models. Okay, the second point, there is no installation needed. Second point, there is a no installation needed. So what it means basically, so basically the thing is like, so unlike other external libraries that you need to install using the package manager like npm, okay, the basically npm is the node package manager. Okay, so unlike that other external library that you need to install using the package manager like npm, so basically the Node.js is a core modules are available out of the box. So this makes that Node.js quick to get started with actually. For example, we'll take one example actually. Example. So to use that HTTP module, for the creating the web server, for creating the web server. Okay, so we can simply like require it we have to simply require it. How means, like for example, I'll create this const. Okay, http is equal to, then we need to use that required keyword, and we have to keep in the this thing in the packet. Okay, so here we like no need to install anything actually, just we have to do one thing, we have to import like this to use that HTTP module for the creating the web servers. So we can simply require it like this actually. So we don't have run command like npm install HTTP. Okay, because of it, like it's a built into the Node.js environment actually. So basically it's built into the Node.js environment. Okay, so this is the second thing. And third thing, performance optimization. So what it means, so basically the performance optimization in the sense like so the basically the core modules are the optimized for the performance. The core modules that optimized for the performance, and they are built to handle the frequent tasks efficiently, and are well tested for the high scalability, you can say. And basically this is important because the Node.js application often need to handle the many concurrent connections, the large amount of data. So basically the built-in modules are designed to perform the well in such situations. So basically we can say that core modules are optimized for the performance. Okay, for example, so the the FS model is optimized to work with the file system quickly. Okay, The FS module is optimized to work with the file system quickly, and basically it uses the asynchronous. So basically it uses asynchronous, like meaning it can handle the multiple file operations at once without blocking the program, so which result in better performance for the large scale applications. Okay, you can take one scenario for the better understanding. Okay, uh, 1 minute. Yeah, the scenario is the thing is like, imagine you are developing the simple Node.js application. Okay, simple Node.js application. Okay, and that serve the web pages to the users. You want to you want the server to respond with the hello world message when the user visit the page. Okay, the first thing, so basically the imagine you are building the, you are developing the simple Node.js application, and that server that serves the web page to the users. Okay, and you want to server to the for the first thing, it's a respond with hello world message when user visit the the visit a page. Okay, you want the server to respond with the hello world message when a user visit the page. And the second thing, so read a file from the server's file system. Read the file from the server file system, and sends its a content to the user when they request it. Okay, so we can accomplish this easily with the http and the fs model. Okay, so I'll do I'll try to code here. Okay, so in this thing, Node.js. Okay, so I'll remove those things. Yeah, the first thing, so we need to implement those two things, that is respond to the hello world message when the user visits the page, and the second thing, that read a line from server file system and sends its content to the user when they request it. Okay, and we are using those two things. The one is the http and one is the fs. Okay, so we need to import the built-in modules. The first one, it's a const. Okay, http const http is equal to require http. Okay, so for the creating the http server, so we have to import that http require http. Okay, and we need to import one more thing, that is a fs. Okay, fs. So basically here for the reading the file from the file system, so we are importing that fs. Okay, so now we need to create the http server that listen on the port number. Like on the port, we can use any port. For example, we are using the 3000. Okay, so here we need to create a server. Okay, there is a http. So basically http we are using for the creating the server. Okay, and there is a one method, there is a name is called create server. Okay, so in that create server, we have the two things, the one which is the request and the one which is the response. Okay, so yeah, the one which is the response. Okay, so now um, using this statement, so just we need to check if the request is like is for the root URL. For example, so here you can see there is a if condition that request.url request.url is equal to that root URL. So then we need to send the hello world message to the user. So then we need to send a response dot write there is a hello world. Okay, so what we did, so basically here we have created one server, okay, using that HTTP, okay, and the create server is the method so we are using, and here we are in the condition, like condition is the basically here we are checking if the request is for the root URL, okay, and if it is a root URL then we need to send the hello world message to the user. Otherwise we have to add some other else if suppose if the URL, suppose that request dot that the URL is equal to the file, okay, the file, so then we need to read file from the file system, okay, so then we have to use that fs dot read file, okay, so we have already here report.txt, so I'll use that one, okay, report.txt, okay, and okay, report.txt, so 1 minute, report.txt, and so basically suppose if we are reading, in the sense we need one thing, there is a utf8 for the for the reading, so it will convert the binary into the human readable format. Okay, so here I'll do one thing, suppose if it is error, suppose if it is error, so then we will send the response dot write the error reading file, else 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 we can send file content to the user. Otherwise we can this like this response.write.data, so here we can able to see that, okay, so basically it like send file content to the user. Okay, so after creating the server, so we have to listen that server as well. So how means, like, so basically so here we need to use that listen keyword, okay, and we have to use that a port as well, okay, the port as well. So in this thing I am using the port is a 3000, okay, and here I'll add the console.log as well, console.log, so I'll, yeah, now it's done. So I'll run this command, like I'll run this code. There is a node and index.js. So before that I need to check what is the yeah, this is the, okay, okay, server is running on the port number 3000. Okay, so I'll go to the web, okay, and I'll check there is local host 3000. Okay, so here we are able to see that hello world. Okay, so like this is for the you can see here in this code. So the request.url, it's a home page, then we will get that hello world. Suppose if we use that slash file, so then we'll see here, if the slash file, so then we will get the this content from this report. This is the report. Okay, so you can see here, yeah, you can see. So when I use that only home page, then you will get that hello world. Suppose if I use that file, so then I'll get that file ready. Okay, so then what happened, like what happened here? So basically that http server, like basically that http module, okay, is the http server creation. Okay, and this http, like this http server, like this http server is a function create the http server that listen for the incoming request. Suppose for the for example, I'll 1 minute, first thing I'll write here, okay, in the new page. So just I am explaining this code only. Okay, uh, yeah, here. So the first thing, there is a http server creation. Okay, the http server creation, in the sense we have to use that http module. Okay, here the basically, so we have the this one, like not this one. Oh, set, okay, 1 minute, http server creation. Okay, so for that thing we are using the http module. This is the first thing. Okay, for that thing we are using, there is http, there is a create server. So basically this is a function that create the http server and that listen for the incoming request. Okay, so in that create server, so we have the two things, one is the request and one is the response. So request will get from the client side, response we need to send to the client. So this you can see, so here we have the request and here the response. Okay, so here we can take the, like we can able to get the request from the front end, otherwise client, and otherwise system. Okay, and the response we need to send from the our service, like our server, to the client side. Okay, so this is the thing. So basically this like this function create the http server and that listen for the incoming request. Okay, so after that what we have did here, so here in the line number 6, okay, so when the user request to the root URL, so when the user request, like user request to the root URL, the server respond the hello world. So basically server responds the hello world. And when that user request for the slash file, the server reads that report.txx, the file using that fs.read file. So basically this fs.read file is the function and sends its content to the user. So this is regarding that http model. Okay, and the second thing, there is a file system operations. Okay, so here we can use that fs module. Okay, so So basically here, so there is a one method called the fs dot read file, the read file. So basically this is a function read the content of the file asynchronously. So while the file is being read, so other part of the server can continue running actually. So this is a crucial for the performance in the web applications where you might need to handle the multiple requests simultaneously. So we have some key points here. So we have some key points. So basically the built-in modules, the first one, built-in built-in modules. So built-in modules, so basically these are included in the Node.js and provide the functionality like reading the files and creating the server. Okay, and the second thing we have seen regarding that no installation needed. So basically we don't need to install them manually, and they are like ready to use as soon as you install Node.js. Okay, and third thing, there is a performance optimization. So basically these modules are optimized and for a high performance and use cases, and which makes them the suitable for the large scale applications and handling the multiple requests simultaneously for the performance optimization. Okay. Yeah, so now yeah, so now we need to know, like we have seen regarding some module. Okay, so we have seen some, like we have imported that module, fs module, http module, but what is the module then actually? What is the module? So basically in the Node.js, the module is just a collection of the JavaScript code, and that is encapsulated to perform the specific task. So basically that modules in the Node.js, it's allow for the code reuse, meaning, so we don't have to rewrite the same logic for the multiple times. Instead of, we can import we can import an already written a module into the R program. The simple thing that no, like the module is just like a collection of the JavaScript code. That's it. Okay. The first thing here we can see regarding, 1 minute, I can write that particular module is a module is just a collection of JavaScript code that is encapsulated to perform a specific task. Okay, so here first thing we can use the purpose like import modules in the Node.js, modules in the Node.js. So basically there is a one keyword called the required. So there is a one keyword called the required. So basically that required keyword is used to import the modules. So basically required keyword is used to import the modules. So this keyword is used to import the modules. So we have seen in this code actually. So you can see here require we have using. Okay, so like the basically that require keyword is used to import modules, so whether the built-in or third party or custom ones into our program. Okay, and the second thing, caching, the caching. So basically modules are the modules are cached after first require first require call. So here the Node.js uses a module caching mechanism. So caching mechanism is in the sense like it's kind of memory. So it will store somewhere actually. So basically the Node.js uses that like module caching mechanism, and like this is the first time you call the require on the module, the Node.js loads the modules and cache it in memory, caches it in memory. So it will store in this particular memory. Okay. On subsequent call to the require for the same module, the Node.js will reuse from the like reuse that cached version instead of loading the it again. So which is help improve the performance. So for example, um, so when we imported first time, so using that require keyword. Okay, so it will store into the memory, so we can say it's a cached. Okay, so when we use, suppose first we have used for example here you can see, so we have used that http. Okay, second time here we are using that fs. Okay, in the first time, so that will store the require into this particular memory. Okay, and suppose if we call one more time, okay, otherwise, yeah, one more time, so it will take from the memory only. So here we can say that it will help to improve the performance. So for example, if you call that for example here you can see there is a require http. Okay, so if you call this method either twice in the same program, so here what we have did, so here called the twice. Okay, suppose if you call that require as a twice in the same program, the Node.js won't load that http modules from the scratch each time. Instead of, it will reuse the first loading of the module, and this prevent the unnecessary processing, and it save the time. Okay, so this is regarding the caching. And third thing, there is a .js. What is mean by .js? So basically the .js is the added automatically. Okay, so you don't need to don't need to add the .js extension when requiring the module. So basically Node.js is automatically look for the files with a .json or .js extension by default. Okay, for example, I'll create here, there is a const. Okay, my module require there is a my module like this, my module. Okay, so in this example the Node.js will look for the file called mymodule.js in the current directory, because of like the path start with this dot slash. So even though you didn't specify the not like the dot json dot js extension. Okay, and the fourth one, path resolution. The fourth one, there is a path resolution. Okay, so here we can see that how that Node.js find the models. So here we can see that how that Node.js finds a module. Okay, for example, So when you use the require, so when you use the require, when you use the require, so Node.js needs to find the requested module, and basically it follows a specific search order. Okay, the specific search order in the sense like the first thing it's a core module, the core module. Okay, so first it checks if the module is the built-in module. Okay, and then like these modules are already available in Node.js. So basically the core modules, okay, the first it checks if the module is is the built-in module, built-in module in the sense like HTTP, FS, path, and these modules are already available in the Node.js. And second thing, there is a node modules node modules. So basically if the module is not a built-in one, the Node.js looks for the module in the node modules directory. Okay, if the module is not a built-in one, the Node.js looks for the for the module in the node module directory, so which where the third party modules are installed. So in this thing we can able to see that built-in modules, and here we can able to see that the third party modules. Okay, and the third thing, custom file paths. Custom file path paths. Okay, if the Node.js still can't find the module, it checks if we have provided any custom path. For example, there is a dot slash my module. Okay, if the Node.js still can't find the module, so it checks if we have provided a custom path, for example like this. For example, for the core modules, you can see here, for example for the core modules, so if you write the require, if you write that require the http http, so Node.js will first look for the built-in http module. Okay, and second thing, there is a if like this is a built-in module. Okay, suppose if I try for if you try for express is a framework for the Node.js. Okay, so basically if you write that require express, the Node.js will look into the node modules directory for the express module, so we can say it's a third party module. Okay, and this is a custom module. So basically when we write, suppose if you write the require require and with custom modules, the custom modules, the Node.js will look for the file called my module, uh, my my module.js in that current directory. Okay, so this is the regarding that module purpose. Okay, so for example I will show you one thing. Okay, syntax of that require. Okay, syntax of that require of requires. Okay, suppose there is a const module name, there is a require. Okay, so I'll use that module. Okay, so here that module name, so this module name is the variable that store the imported modules, okay, imported module, okay, and this module is the name of the module you are importing. So this module is the name of, like, is the name of the module you are importing, okay. For example, importing the built-in HTTP module, okay. So there is a HTTP is equal to require HTTP, okay. So this is for the importing the built-in HTTP modules. Okay. Suppose if you want to importing the third party models, okay. So third party models, in the sense, first we need to install with the npm, okay, npm install. For example, I need third party library called there is a express is a framework basically, okay. So we need this from the third party, okay. So after installing, so we need to import like express is equal to require, okay, and here we need to use that express. So basically it's from the third party library, okay. When you work with the third party library, we can use like this, okay. And so we need to import the custom local modules for that thing. So there is a one thing, my module, okay, is equal to require there is a my module, okay. So these are the syntax of that require, okay. The first thing with a built-in modules, and second thing, this is regarding the third party, and third thing, regarding that custom, okay. So the three things regarding that require module, okay. So basically that modules, we can say it's a bundles of the reusable code. And that caching, so basically where it is, yeah, the caching. So basically we can see that Node.js the only loads the module once, afterwards it uses the cached version. And so basically automatic file extension, so basically we don't need to add .js in that required file. So here, okay, it will take the automatic file extension, okay. And there is a path resolution. So basically Node.js checks the core module first, then the node modules, and finally local files, okay. So we have some best practices. Basically the best practices, in the sense, always try to organize your code into the smaller modules, okay. And it's easier to manage and debug, for the easier to manage and debug, okay. For example, if you have the function, okay, if you have the function that sends an email, and you could create a separate module for email functionality, okay. For example, so if you want to if you have a function that sends a mail, okay, and you could create a separate module for email functionality, and then require it uh, in your main application, okay. So this is regarding that module purpose. So this is a quite important regarding that fundamental kind of things regarding that modules, okay. So apart from that thing, okay, that's it. We'll see next class, okay.